What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 288 of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse pod on the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast network. Before I even continue, Deej, we record this, no free ads in StreamYard, obviously, because we're in two different states. StreamYard did one of the most impeccable things of all time. They updated yesterday. You can pause your recording without ending it now. It's a beautiful thing. Shout out StreamYard, no free shout outs. I just noticed it at the top. This is the first time it's like enacted on a recording I've done on here. Beautiful thing. Just wonderful technology. You can also restart your recording if it feels like something's going wrong. It's unbelievable stuff. Immaculate. Job well done. Job well done. We got a lot to dive into on this episode, from everything that went down during throwback weekend in Denver. We're going to get into Seattle and how Deej and I's sleep schedules are going to be absolutely demolished. I can't wait to sleep all day tomorrow. It is going to be beautiful. I'm going to wake up at like 8 p.m. because that's when I have to wake up so I can be in these pressers. Because I got to come through for the people. You got to come through for the people. We all got to come through for the people. And if you want to come through for the boys, follow us on the socials at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_next. Great. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It goes a long way for helping more people find this show in particular, helps this show get on the charts, continue to grow, get more ears and eyes on Outside the Box. And, of course, it helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia as a whole and helps our network continue to grow. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show every single week. You get clips, live streams, all original video content, all on our YouTube channel. We're at 523 subscribers right now. We need to get to 600 by the end of the month. Has to happen. That's a whole company-wide initiative. And Deej, I hope you you sent me your flight booking for Boston. I hope you looked for another flight, actually, because you accidentally put Philadelphia as the airport you'd be leaving from to go back to Michigan. I hope you redirected that to Alaska, because it's not looking great, pal.
Well, considering I haven't bought my plane ticket yet, I guess I got time.
Unless everybody wants to go on a full-on, Blitzkrieg bop and subscribe to the channel before September 4th at midnight. You got to get us to 1,000 subscribers. Otherwise, D just heading to Alaska.
Maybe not. Maybe
subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Maybe I know somebody knows some IP addresses. And, I might be able to do some little dirty work to get us to our goal.
That's how we ended up on the black market on streamer season, I guess.
Probably. Sorry.
So go subscribe, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Deej, what's popping, brother?
I'm living well. You guys see that I can never point in the right direction. That right there, that is an award we got for excellent radio work.
I got an award.
I did get an award. So I'm super pumped about that. And I spent some time in Chicago last weekend. And all I could think about was the fact that 90% of the people I walked by had no clue that a professional lacrosse team might be coming to Chicago. I just wanted to tell so many people. Anytime I did get a chance to talk to people, I was like, a lacrosse team might be coming here. They're like, what? Really? Great conversation starter. Loved it.
That's hilarious. We'll get into a bunch of stuff with the PLL, but first, let's start with our Denver recap. It's brought to you by our merch partners over at PHI Apparel Company, the best merch partners in the game. Right now, through the end of today, midnight, it'll be over. So I'm actually not going to promote that because it doesn't work once this episode goes up. But you're going to stand out in the crowd, and DJ, I just was stumbling upon through my iCloud. I found some old merch designs that we might have to upload pretty soon because it's pretty sweet.
Uh-oh.
Just saying. But PHI Apparel Company is the best in the game. You're going to stand out in the crowd, whether it's at a PLL weekend, getting geared up for the NLL this fall, or, just hanging out, shooting. Deej has been out and about with his stick in hand. You'd look great shooting in an OTB shirt or hoodie. Deej can contest to that and say you would stand out while you're out there shooting. Our listeners can go to phiapparel.co. Use code underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. If you want to support the boys, you want to see us do more dope stuff, be able to do giveaways, stuff like that, which I've been thinking about maybe doing a giveaway pretty soon for the people. Get your merch. It's the most effective and direct way to support us. Plus, you look freaking awesome in an OTB shirt or hoodie. Plus, new merch coming, hopefully in the next week or so. I'm sending everything over to Tyler, including our throwback logo, because I saw a lot of people in the Instagram comments. Now we need merch. Don't worry, because DJ and I want merch. It's coming. We're like Deion saying, we're coming. We're coming with it. Don't worry.
But what do you say? We coming and I got killers or what do you say?
I'm coming.
And I got
Don't worry, I'm coming.
And we got them dogs with us.
So go to PHI Apparel.
Suitcases. They bring in that Louis
They
Vuitton.
designer. Just like the bags under my eyes. Go to phiapparel.co, code underground, 10% off any and all merch orders. Deej, Denver was a wild time, as it tends to be over the past couple of years. Throwback weekend, another success. And we've got some updates in the standings and some questions that need answers. But right now, the standings after Denver look like this. The Archers in first place at 7-1. Best score differential in the league at a plus 23, followed by the Cannons at 5-3, who have scored the most goals, most points in the league this year with 114. They have a plus 19 score differential. The Water Dogs also at 5-3, not far behind the Cannons now. They've scored 102 points this year, but their score differential just a plus 5. The Whip Snakes, we'll get into them. Matt Rambo dropped the line, and I'm nervous. They're 4-4. They've now scored 106 points on the season for third most in the league and a score differential of plus 9. Chaos also at 4-4. They have a plus 3 score differential. Redwoods also at 4-4 and have punched their ticket to the postseason. But they have a negative 14 score differential. Still the second fewest goal scoring number in the league at 88. Got to get them goals on the board, boys. Atlas at 2-6 with a negative 14 score differential. They have eclipsed the 100 score mark this year, though, becoming the 5th team to do it. Chaos only 1 score away from 100 on the year. And then Chrome, they have a big choice to make this weekend. They can either bend the knee and say, hey, it's Brennan O'Neill's season, or they hope for an Atlas loss, and they're still fighting for a playoff spot. They're at 1-7 with a negative 31 score differential. I have to ask you this, Deej, because Redwoods and Chrome play each other this week. Before we get into recapping everything from Denver, what do you think happens first? Redwoods score 12 goals or 12 points to get to 100, or Chrome surrender 5 and get to 100 scores against?
Wait, what did you just ask me?
It's a trick question.
I was going to say, bro, that sounds like
I wanted to see how your brain would maneuver there.
Heard, bro.
I wanted to see how your brain would maneuver.
I'm like,
we're recording early, so it's a different brain for everybody.
I'm like, no, my brain's on right now. I'm in the middle of the day. That thing is pinpoint. I was like, this man just said 2 teams that are playing each other One's got to score 12. One has to let up 5. Which one come? Why you even ask me that?
Because I wanted to see if you were on.
I'm on.
Denver was wild.
6 light. Stay on.
Denver was wild. Whip Snakes take the season series from Chaos. They win 12-10. Archers obliterate Chrome 13-5. Water Dogs top Atlas 14-11. And then the game of the week was not viewable for about 2.5 quarters. And goes to overtime because that's what we deserved. Redwoods winning a thriller 16-15 in overtime against Cannons to split the season series. Wild weekend. Lots of stuff to take away from these games, from just Denver as a whole. Deej, what were your top 3 takeaways from Denver?
Wow. Whip Snakes are scary for a couple of reasons. Their offense is finally completely healthy. Michael Earhart is back healthy. And whether they have Brendan Krebs or Kyle Bernlohr in net doesn't really matter. They've just gotten to the point where they're back to being an all-around team, and they're confident about it, and they're having fun. Those are 3 things you never want the Whip Snakes to have. So obviously cannot count them out of championship runs anytime soon. The Archers are an absolute wagon. I think I've said that for the last 5 weeks in a row, but what else can I say? And other than us going 2-2, because I couldn't believe we went 2-2, I cannot believe Redwoods were the ones to stop the Cannons. What a game.
Yeah.
And the best part is I was on a date for most of it, so I had no clue what was going on. And then when I got back, overtime was starting.
Well,
and I was like, no
2.5 quarters,
way.
nobody really knew what was going on outside of social clips and Tyler Cunnington. Shout out to the People's Champ, Tyler Cunnington, just on a whim, goes live on Twitter and is doing broadcast play-by-play from his seat and from where he was at the stadium. The People's Champ. Joe Keegan tweeted the Spider-Man meme. It was like, be careful, he's a hero.
Yeah,
Tobey Maguire's stopping the train.
I didn't even know that was going on. I had no clue. Finally, I dropped her off, got back in my car, to myself. Boom. Overtime starting. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, ESPN Plus as a platform was down for the first 2.5 quarters of Redwoods Cannons.
The entire platform?
The entire platform. It wasn't just the PLL broadcast. UFC was down. The entire platform was down.
Wow. All right, Walt, get it together.
Gotta be quicker than that.
Man, but no, I mean, I guess the only other takeaway is, we'll get to that in a little bit. The royal family that was there for the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, but the play was spectacular. Jerseys looked absolutely beautiful. Even the ones that I wasn't very fond of, I thought looked great on screen. So I can only imagine what they looked like in person. Bill Tierney in studio is always great. Can Mike and Paul just hire him? I feel like the little
could be on the table.
The little weird quirky things he says are something you'd only hear Bill Tierney say. And it's just yes, we need this, not weekly, but every so often, just drop Bill Tierney in the box and I'm here for it. But yeah, I thought it was overall a great weekend. Really upset I couldn't be there. I will make it out to Denver at some point, but I mean, throwback weekend needs to stay at Denver.
Also, wouldn't mind if the throwbacks were just in rotation for
the rest of the season.
I'm just trying to think, you know how we always talk about third jerseys for teams, and we kind of compare it to the NBA. You should have your throwback jersey in rotation. I don't know if that'll happen or if it'll just stay exclusive to
maybe they should move
Denver, but
move Denver up.
I don't hate Denver being in the back half of the year.
I mean, I don't either, but I mean, maybe for once they should like do Albany and then just bus up and go West Coast and then come back East. And then you can like kind of have that incentive to stretch out the throwback jerseys. If you do keep throwback weekend at Denver, do it earlier and then you talk to teams about putting them in their rotation.
Or even like wear them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't hate wearing them in playoffs either.
Because then it's like, okay, these teams earn their spot here. Let's throw these on again.
Yeah, like Long Island, that'd be fuego.
Yeah. My takeaways from Denver: Redwoods bossed up. They didn't even play a complete 48 minutes plus overtime, but they showed guts. They showed grit, and very impressive performance, like top to bottom from everybody. Glaze's celebration was ridiculous. Did you see that?
No. Oh, Glaze? Yeah.
The hang clean.
I'm like, I might need to pull that out the back.
That was absurd.
Wait. I went.
This guy.
Bag? Put it in.
Put it in the bag.
Put it in.
That was takeaway number one. They did a phenomenal job in that game, and the Cannons played phenomenal as well. That was like one of the best games of the season, hands down. Like that game goes in the category of Water Dogs Atlas in Ohio. It goes in the category of Archers Water Dogs in Dallas, Whip Snakes Chaos in Dallas. Like those are like elite tier games this season so far. Water Dogs getting back to their winning ways was huge for them. They've got the nastiest top trio in the league right now. You said it yourself. Ethan Walker missing games because of the NLL playoffs and still has 25 points in his bag is crazy. Kieran scored the fastest hat. Like Kieran went full on fucking Reggie Jackson mode. Boop, 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 done. Hat trick in less than 2 minutes.
I mean, okay. Speaking of, they played Atlas this weekend?
Yeah.
I want to give a ton of credit to Michael Rexroad. Sowers got on him early in that first quarter, gave him 3 quick ones, and then Rexroad was on his ass for the rest of the game. On it like white on rice. Any kind of on it synonym or metaphor you want to throw there, that was Michael Rexroad. It was like Sowers couldn't even breathe without him saying, "Hey, we're both Mike. I exist here too, buddy. Like I'm right here." He's like, "I'm here. I'm here." and I loved it because like when you look at that, like, okay, Sowers had a hat trick. Everybody's like, "Oh, his matchup didn't play him well. He scored 3 goals." But then if you actually take the time to sit and watch the game, you would understand Rexroad made one of the best defensive adjustments that we have seen all season. For a guy to put up 3 in a quarter, the first quarter at that is a lot, especially at this level. And then for him to just come in and say, "You are done," that's just as big. We just got to, I love giving props to the D side. There's not enough defensive props around the league, other than my boy Joe Keegan, always throwing out stats.
And I asked Michael Sowers this in the press conference. I said, how cool is it to have, you're able to pop off in the first quarter for a hat trick. Then Ethan Walker throughout the entirety of the game does his thing, had 6 or 7 points, whatever it ended up being. I forget what it is off the top of my head. And then Kieran can just go in less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and put up a hattie. And he's like, that's what makes our offense like so fun to play, and that's what makes us tough to cover. That's what makes us difficult to, scheme for. It was dope to watch the Water Dogs like be back to playing the style of lacrosse that we know from them offensively. I have a tie in takeaways for my last ones here. The Whip Snakes are back. I hate to admit it, but when Matt Rambo, it felt like in Fairfield, everybody was like, "Oh, this team is This team is not what they used to be. They're getting older. Is it time to have a changing of the guard? You all look. I never said it. I was just like, okay, we both always said they haven't had their full complementary offense. Brad Smith
And
came
that,
back.
yeah, we're just like they're in
And
trouble right now.
Matt Rambo dropped the line. He dropped the line on the camcorder this week. Get on the train. Get on the train before it's too late. And when Matt Rambo drops that, he's putting the league on notice. The whips are back. It's going to be scary, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the remainder of the regular season going into the playoffs. The Archers are a wagon. If you haven't noticed that, they are easily the most complete team in the league, top to bottom, across the board, horizontally, vertically, and diagonally. They are playing with a swagger and confidence that is unmatched. They're having fun, and they may have the MVP of the league on their team. But I digress. Last thing to take away.
Who?
Mr. 26, Captain America, Tom Schreiber.
Oh. I like tuned out for a second. I thought we were still talking whip snakes. I'm like,
oh, no.
ooh. But, okay.
Last thing that I have to touch on from Denver, and it kind of has trickled into the week because Craig Chick got released this week. Gavin Adler's on the PUP list now. I want to put this out there. I have a lot of respect for Coach Pressler. He has been a joy to talk to after games every single week. He's been very fun to kind of just pick his brain and see where he is, whether it's win, loss, whatever it may be. I don't know if he's cut out for the GM aspect of this job. Because week in and week out, some sort of move is made that makes everybody scratch their heads. And I don't know about you, and I could be wrong, but I also have seen a number of people bring this up on the old Bird app. And yes, I will refer to it as the Bird app until the day I die. Doesn't it feel like Jeff Teat is not as involved in the offense as he has in years past and as he should be? When you've got a guy out there who can consistently compete for an MVP, no matter what league it is, it just doesn't feel like the ball is in his stick as often as it has the last couple of years. I know he's got the assist numbers, but like Jeff Teat is like mutant type of player, like Tom Schreiber, like Lyle. You know, he's in that echelon where he can take over a game and be a driving force to help your team win. And it feels like in a lot of these games for Atlas this year, especially because I think they have 3 games, if not 4, where they've lost by 1 goal this year, and now 4 or 5 where they've lost by 3 or less. Feels like if you feed the ball to Jeff Teat, let him find his angle, that can help you win some games. I think that, you know, especially this week because they're fighting for their playoff lives, game plan's got to be get Jeff Teat the ball and let him score, let him be Jeff Teat. But also, have you not been scratching your head at move after move that Atlas has made this year?
I have a very weird opinion on everything that's gone on with Atlas. I was at first very confused with his drafting choices, and him letting go of Cade. His draft choices didn't make sense to me from a level of, you have 1 and 3. Why not go offense defense? Because you can. That was what was confusing to me. But the 2 guys he chose, I was like, I totally get it. Totally get it. Those were arguably the 2 best cover guys in the NCAA last year, outside of maybe Will Bowen. But the decision to let go of Cade was interesting. That one didn't make sense to me. I felt like he had a lot to give to them on the defensive side in transition, maybe up on the wing. That seemed premature.
And not to cut you off, too, that's one thing that Atlas, outside of Trevor, is missing this year is just transition game has been abysmal.
Well, kind of. I agree with that to an extent. My biggest thing was it just seemed like a premature decision. But then, he started using Kobe Smith, which I loved. He brought fire to the transition point, played great defense, was happy to have another shot. I think that was the big thing with Kobe was Rubio had kind of shelved him and was kind of just putting him on the roster here and there, but not really playing him. He finally had another opportunity to play. And I think he really valued that and was taking huge strides in that until he got hurt. The move that is making me question Pressler, the only move that he's done that's made me question him, was letting go of Craig Chick. That made absolutely no sense to me. None. Craig Chick has been not only phenomenal this year, he was great last year as well. The only thing I don't like about him is that he wears ankle socks with black cleats. Everything else about him is golden. He's a great player. That move made literally no sense to me whatsoever. Like the other moves, I could find a reason why, or like kind of get in his brain and be like, maybe he thought this. With Craig, I can't say a word.
And on the surface, like those other moves too, you can still make the argument that it's a head scratcher.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely a head scratcher. But I was like, okay, is this a head scratcher because I'm trying to figure out where he was going with this, because I see kind of where he could like why he did it, versus the Craig Chick is a head scratcher because I can't find a reason why he would do it. It doesn't.
And I'll tell you what, Craig Chick's probably going to end up on that Archer squad before we know it because John Robbins' injury.
And that's scary. I mean, we'll take him. I wouldn't mind having another backup LSM. We could use it, and he's damn good.
He would probably start alongside Sexton in most games.
Dude, I wouldn't mind starting double pole and dropping Tevlin down.
Yeah,
there's a lot of options.
Where do I sign?
A lot of
options. That hands down.
So that one didn't make sense. But as far as the Teat thing with offense, I think a lot of it is running through Teat, but they know that you can't stick with that. I think that's the biggest thing with Pressler that's different than Rubio. Rubio saw Teat and everything he can do and was like, that's our golden ticket. We're going to put the ball in his stick, set everything up for him. When people crash on him, he'll find the open guy. That's our offense. I like Pressler's kind of idea about that. When we need to go to Teat, we absolutely will. We'll call this play, set it up, and run it. Other than that, though, he really wants other guys to get involved and be initiators, which makes total sense. If we look at chaos, you have Brian Minikis who can initiate, Dane Smith, Josh Byrne. That's 3 guys, just those 3 already, not counting other guys who can also go in and do that kind of thing. Kyle Jackson, Chase Frazier, right? Whip Snakes, Brad Smith, Mike Chanichuk, Zed Williams, Matt Rambo. That's 4 right off rip. Archers, Grant, Matt Moore, Connor Fields, Tom Schreiber. That's 4. Redwoods, Kirst, Ryder, Rob, Jules, Charlie Bertrand. That's 5. Cannons, Marcus, Asher, Drenner, Campbell. That's 4. Like every team has multiple avenues. Multiple teams have multiple avenues to go through. And I didn't even touch on Water Dogs, or Chrome, who also both have a ton of options. And Atlas has been running through one guy. It's just not effective in the level of the PLL. Like, you got to be able to attack from multiple angles. And that's why I understand why he's not going through Teat as much. But I do feel there are times that they don't go to him when they should, which is where it doesn't make sense to me. And there's other times where they do go to him. I can recall what was the weekend before Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
he had a shorty and just didn't dodge. Just didn't dodge. Like, I don't know an attackman, even on my team in high school, that wouldn't dodge on a shorty. And these kids have been playing for 2 years, some of them. It's just like, that's an opportunity you take every time as one of the best ball handlers in the world. You try and get a shot off, or if they slide early, you move it. Like, he just didn't even initiate the dodge. So I think there's a turning of the mindset on offense. They're looking to attack from multiple angles versus just tee, and then we'll go from there.
Take his rookie season with a little bit of a grain of salt because he missed 2 games in 2021. He only played in 7 games.
I mean, he would have just been higher. He would have been higher.
Yeah, I'm just saying for this, what I'm about to read off here. So just remember, everybody listening at home, he played in 7 games in 2021. But this year in 8 games, Teet's got 30 points, 10 goals. The fact that it took to week 7, week 8, to get to 10 goals for Jeff Teet is crazy. And I think everybody can agree on that in every aspect just because of the player Jeff Teet is. He's got a career high in assists, PLL-wise, with 20. He's taken 31 shots this year, which, break that down. He's on a career pace for a career low in shots taken, depending on the volume he gets in these next 2 weeks. Lowest he's had, which was his rookie year in 7 games, was 40. Last year, he shot 52 times. He's on a career pace low in shooting percentage at 32%. He shot 40% in his rookie year, 42% last year. He's got 15 turnovers this year, which right now is a career low. He had 21 last year, 26 his rookie year. And his shot on goal percentage is right around his career average. It's 77%. His career average is 75. I get what you're saying in terms of like switching up the philosophy and like letting other guys contribute, because you have Chris Gray, you have Eric Law, you have Brian Costabile, who also I feel like is not getting enough usage offensively in situations where he should be. But in moments in the types of games that Atlas have played this year, where you're down by a goal, down by 2 goals, you got to let Jeff Teet be the game wrecker that he can be and let him take over a game no matter what the situation is.
Well, that was my thing that's what I meant with the like shorty thing is,
yeah,
I feel like there are times where they are calling his number and he's just like, I don't want to. Like, no, I'm not going to dodge here. Let's just go with someone else. Like, and I get it because I have a kid like that on my team where like sometimes like I'll tell him to dodge and he'll just pass it. I'm like, dude, he's like, I'm tired, coach. Like, I just don't want to. And I'm like, I get it. Like, we initiate through you all the time. Like, you want to break. I totally get it. But also, that's an excuse. Mm-hmm. And that's an excuse I'll take from a high schooler. Jeff Teet, nah, bruh. Nah, you got to dodge. You got to initiate. It's your job. You are the star player on this offense. Do what you got to do. This is what you're getting paid to do.
Also, can we get Mark Cockerton in the lineup for Atlas? Like, it's clear, like, not exact comparison, but it's almost like the NBA where, like, you want to play with a guy you're comfortable with. You want to have a guy on your team, so you tell your GM, hey, go get my guy. Go trade for my guy. Go sign my guy in free agency. You went and picked Mark Cockerton up in the middle of July. Everybody and their mother knows Jeff Teet loves playing with Mark Cockerton, knows they have chemistry, knows they play well together. We've seen Mark Cockerton on this Atlas team year in and year out, whether it's from the beginning or picked up mid-season, and he thrives playing with Jeff Teet. Like, you have that at your disposal, and just neglecting to even try it in your style of coaching and offense is malpractice, in my opinion. What hurts you to just try it if you're Pressler, if you're this staff? And the crazier part, too, is like Unterstein and Brooks are on this coaching staff, and they know it firsthand from playing in the league. Like, they have seen this happen where Jeff Teet has this comfortability and his game is elevated by playing with Mark Cockerton in the field game. Give it a go. What is the worst that can happen? You're 2-6. you're fighting for a playoff spot still because you can't win games. Chrome are a game behind you. Why would you not go in and punch in that nice little cheat code and say, oh, we just unlocked Mark Cockerton, which is going to, in theory and in past performances, unlock another level of Jeff Teet's game to make him more comfortable out on the field.
Who do you take and put at midfield then?
Let me look at there.
Because it's Chris Gray and Eric Law.
Right.
Who do you take off that attack line to put at midfield? And then who do you take out of the midfield off of the roster? That is the question.
I mean,
that's the real question.
No offense, because he's a homie and I love him. What has Justin Gutterding provided for this team this year?
I mean, you know my opinion on Gutterding and what they should do with him. The same thing.
What has
I said they should. The same thing I said they should have done in Boston last year. To two coaches. That is my opinion on Gutterding.
No offense to him this year, but in theory, what has Brendan Curry provided for this team outside of the first couple weeks of the season?
He just had a goal in Dallas. I think he had 2 that game.
Brendan Curry hasn't scored since
Dallas?
Baltimore.
Okay, that was last week. But then he scored in Dallas too. Right off the faceoff. Trevor did a reverse plunger and threw it to him right off the wing.
But you have moments there, but would you rather, if you're a team that is in Atlas's position, would you rather have moments or would you rather have your best player playing at his peak performance level?
These kind of conversations are so hard for me because as a fan and a player, I think quick, right? So it's yes, we want success now, right now. Forget the moments. Let's do it. Let's put all in our chips right now to try and make this season what it should be. But as a coach, especially me knowing that I may not get the same kids back because I'm at high school, he doesn't necessarily have that problem. He's thinking long term. Does he want Brendan Curry in this lineup so he can get assimilated with this offense so that, okay, you're not having a great year this year, but all of you are going to play together this year. We're going to go back to training camp next year. Hopefully some of you guys are playing box together outside of this, and we'll keep going with this lineup until we're solidified and feel good and have that chemistry. Or do we want to go the Chrome route and mix it up here and there and see what we can do? And we've already ragged on Chrome 1,001 times about having a revolving door on offense this year and how it hasn't helped.
And I'll add one more guy in this Atlas. Cool story, played well in the Champ Series. What has Marco Rourke done to really elevate this team this year? He's got 5 games played. He's got 4 points, and that's because he's got a 2-pointer this year. He's got 2 1-pointers out of the midfield.
And I think the thing that's going against your argument here really is Chrome. The fact that Atlas can kind of toy around with this version that they're putting out every week and try and sharpen it, because realistically they have to Chrome has to win to put them in a position to be scared. And when are we going to see another Chrome win? We might not see another Chrome win this year, looking at their roster, looking at their schedule and who they're playing. They don't play Atlas again.
Right, but I think Atlas's schedule is...
They're both hard
tougher
for both of them. It's tough for the both of them. Neither one of them is playing good. I don't think anybody has a tougher schedule. Because they're battling themselves. They're not even battling other teams out there. They're battling themselves.
I put this out on Twitter. I said, I don't think this final playoff spot is as clear cut as people are making it out to be.
It's pretty clear cut. I think you're overcomplicating it. Actually.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a given that Chrome missed the playoffs.
Why?
I just don't I don't feel confident in either team to win, but I don't think it's as simple as saying, "Oh, Chrome are just gonna
So let's look at the next 3
fall
games.
over and die."
Let's look at the next 3 games.
Chrome play Redwoods this weekend in Seattle. Atlas play Cannons, and then
That's
Atlas play Redwoods.
Right. So
and Chrome play Chaos.
if I'm going to look at these two, right, they're both playing the same 2 teams for the last 2 games of the year.
They each play Redwoods, but they have different other opponent.
Chrome's not beating Chaos. I'm gonna say that flat right now. Chrome is not beating Chaos. They don't have enough offensively to beat that defense in Blaze Reardon. They just don't. That's just facts. So taking that out of standpoint, let me look at Atlas.
Atlas play Cannons.
I don't see Atlas beating Cannons either. That's just me. But I do. There's a possibility they do, but I don't see that happening. So basically, it's which one of these teams could possibly beat the Redwoods, and it's not Chrome. That's why I don't think. Like if I had to pick one of these two to beat the Redwoods, it'd be Atlas. 1, because of the face-off battle, and 2, because of their offense versus our defense. Atlas has more on offense that the Redwoods have to worry about versus Chrome. Logan Wisnauskas has been non-existent. Sam Hanley has done nothing and didn't even make the roster last week, I think it was. Who on that day? Cross Ferrara has been their best player, which I love. D3, all about it. But your stars aren't playing. JA has done very little to nothing this year. Jackson Murrill has been the other very good player for them, but I mean, I think Redwoods played Chrome not too long ago. Right? No, actually Redwoods haven't played Chrome this year. Somebody played Chrome and made Jackson Murrill non-existent. And if Jackson Murrill isn't growing for this Chrome team, nobody is. That's just facts. Him and Cross do everything solo. I think Chrome has the least amount of assisted goals this year. They're not moving the ball. They're not doing anything offensively. They have nothing going for them. The one game they won was toward the very beginning of the year against a Whipsnakes team that wasn't healthy. I have 0 confidence in Chrome to win a game. 0. I wish there was something in there that gave me a light to say, yeah, they could possibly win this game. But I don't see it. Like,
I don't know. Something tells me it's not as simple as a lot of people are making it out to be. And it wouldn't shock me one way or the other if Atlas make the playoffs or if Chrome make it. And it would be hilarious if Chrome made it. Because then we really have off-season chaos.
But I mean, wouldn't it be score differential? Because neither one of them is winning out. Let's be honest here. Chrome would have to win out to flat out jump Atlas. That's not happening. They're not winning the next 2 games. Let's just be realistic here. So then it comes down to score differential if they do win one of those games. And I don't even know how tight of a race that is right now.
Chrome are -31, Atlas are -14.
I'm sorry, I don't see them making up some 17, 18 goals in 2 games. Or in the one game. Oh, what? Does Atlas get blown out again? Tough luck. Because even though they're not winning, but Cannon's played great. First off,
he could forget it. His contacts could get lost on an airplane.
Yep, absolutely.
Never say never.
I'm not saying never. Not saying never, but
you did say 0.
The chances are 0.0000001. Like they are slim.
So you're saying,
in my opinion,
chance.
There's a chance, but they're slim.
Let's keep it pushing. Ciara was in the house.
Body party.
My biggest takeaway was just like the coolness that was, or still has to be, for our guy Ryan Drenner. You're just a kid from Baltimore, from Maryland. Played at Towson. You're playing professionally now. And an international icon in the music industry and in the celebrity stratosphere pulls up wearing your jersey simply because her husband went to school with your offensive coordinator in Virginia. And your jersey sells out 3 hours after a photo gets posted on social media. I'm just over the moon stoked for like Ryan Drenner, first and foremost. Secondly, if I'm not mistaken, this is the most famous human to attend a PLL game in history? Question mark?
I mean, do you consider Bill or Teddy Bruschi or any of those guys to be more famous?
I think Ciara is more famous.
Then yeah.
I just couldn't remember of like
maybe Dan or Kent, because those are both global sports, really.
I think Ciara's bigger because music is such a transcendent thing.
I mean,
and
dude, basketball is.
I get that, but I was like talking about it with my mom. I was like, Ciara was popping when I was in elementary school, like popping. Then she gets on the 1-2 step with Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott's a fucking icon. So then you pair them up together along with Fat Man Scoop. And Ciara, to this day, decades later, is still global icon, still putting out music, still in the public spotlight. Like, for her to pull up to the PLL with Russ, with their kids, was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was like, Ciara? Man, now I'm real mad I wasn't there. Not like, I mean, I probably could have finagled my way to the president's box. Wouldn't be the first time we've done that.
You would have got tackled by security.
Oh, swift. Wait, sir, you can't, sir. Next thing I know,
Maneuver 12. We got a live one.
We got a live one. Next thing I know, I'm getting handcuffed.
Russell Wilson also talked about it during his post-practice press conference yesterday. So that was pretty cool to get that more and more in the spotlight. Very dope to see Ciara turn Ryan Drenner's jersey into a fashion piece.
Also, just the boost Lacrosse gets from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned, she's huge, global. Like, so many people are now like, she was at a what
Center
game?
Tweeting it out. The collab post with the NFL.
Like, she's at a what game? A lacrosse game. What's lacrosse? Boom. Now they're searching it up. And I'm sure we got some 50, 100 new fans, if not more. I'm sure even more than that, but that's just rough. Even just thinking like maybe only 50 people looked it up. That's 50 new fans. Like, just having that kind of name put so many eyes on the sport. And it's huge. Oh, now all we need is for her to come back out of retirement after this baby and do like a concert or something in the jersey, and we're there.
She just dropped a music video, or is dropping one soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this collab post with the NFL of her and Russ, like 86,000 likes on Instagram.
Insane. And that's just Instagram, because they posted on Twitter and TikTok and all these other places too. Crazy.
So that was dope. Also, we know the PLL merch team listens to the podcast because they dropped the rope hat throwbacks, and obviously last year the throwback hats were not rope hats, but they're still fire. But we said we need them things on rope hats, and they did that. So confirmed PLL merch team listens to the podcast. Before we get into Seattle, last bit here, Tom Segura showing love to the D2 Natty champs, his alma mater, Lenore Rhine, on 2 Bears, 1 Cave. We were out in front of that. We brought that to the lacrosse realm of the world. We posted that clip because I am a huge Tom and Bert fan, as is DJ, and I was like, oh, okay, here's my worlds colliding. TLN reposted it. Shout out to them. Shout out to Kevin and Poolskis and the rest of the TLN squad. But very cool, very funny clip to watch. And if you watch it, the episode after the clip, Bert goes, "So who's the most famous alumni to go there?" And Tom looks at him like the most dead face, was like, me.
Like, what'd you think?
And then they look up alumni from Lenore Ryan, and then he's like, and probably Kyle Duggar. He plays for the Patriots.
Like, okay, yeah.
I was like, that checks out. But I was like,
For now.
yeah, Bert, it's clearly Tom.
Clearly. Well, that's until I go to Lenore Ryan and get my master's, and then it's me.
We had Lenore Ryan's lacrosse team retweet us. I think their athletic director retweeted us. We had one of their players follow us on Instagram. Are we a hashtag Lenore Ryan podcast? They loved the clip, so that was dope.
Not opposed. Not opposed.
They did have some fire jerseys for that Natty Champs.
They did. And they won.
But again, very cool. Tom Segura is another global icon. Was just on his "I'm Going Everywhere" world tour, and has countless Netflix specials. Two Bears, One Cave is one of the funniest podcasts out there. So to have not only lacrosse but the Division II level get that shout out is pretty dope.
Absolutely.
Let's get to our Seattle preview. It's brought to you by our pals over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. They have their app now, guys. Go download the app in your app store, Google Play, tomahawkshades.com. Check it out in the app. Their sunglasses, blue light glasses. They got the warehouse sale still going on. It's DJ's favorite time of year, and you can use promo code WARE80 for up to 80% off at tomahawkshades.com or in the app. The sunglasses, the blue light glasses, prescription lenses, and year-round, you can use our promo code USP for 25% off at tomahawkshades.com. That's promo code USP for 25% off at tomahawkshades.com. Let's get into Seattle. A little quick hitting preview here for the people. This is what we got on deck for the biggest Lacrosse After Dark, PLL After Dark weekend of the year. We've got Archers Whip Snakes on ESPN2 on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Atlas Cannons at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Get your caffeine ready, boys. Chrome Redwoods on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the final game of the week, the True Nightcap, Chaos Water Dogs, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We are in for a doozy of a sleep schedule. I think the game of the week is a toss-up between Archers Whips and Chaos Water Dogs. I think both of those games are going to be very entertaining across the board for both teams. Lot at stake for everyone outside of the Archers in terms of standings, because nobody can catch the Archers this week in the standings. But Chaos and Whips are fighting for positioning there for their seeding. Water Dogs trying to leapfrog Cannons as well. Those are my two games that I'm looking most forward to.
Can't believe you said it's a toss-up. There's a reason there's one game on ESPN2 this week. That is 1,000% the game of the week. The Archers are an absolute, I'm not even going to say the word because I've said it too many times in the last few weeks. They're just a train. They're steamrolling through anyone. Get out of the way.
You're telling me Chaos Water Dogs is not going to be...
No, because then you got the other train. This is two trains coming right at each other, right? We got the hop on before it's too late whip snakes train with we're an absolute beast of a wagon train with Archers. They're literally about to collide head to head. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. Not saying the other game won't be exciting, but this is going to be crazy. Because what I'll say is, if the Archers win this game, find me somebody who will beat them in the championship.
Well, they got to find themselves in the playoffs first.
Who, the Archers? I'm not worried about it this year. I'm
just talking historically.
I'm not putting that historical standpoint on this team. This team is so different than what we've seen in the past, and I'm so ready to bite these words. If they lose their first game, I'll bite every single one of these words, and I'll gladly apologize to the world about how wrong I was. But I will not put the historical value of those previous teams on this team. I don't think we've ever seen a team only lose one game.
Whip snakes.
Was that the bubble though?
That was last year.
They weren't that good though. They weren't that good though. Like, we didn't talk about the whip snakes the way we talked about Archers. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're looking at these Archer games, like, they're winning games handily. That whip snakes team, we were like, they're winning by 1, they're winning by 2. Like, we don't know what to say. They just figure out how to win. This Archers team is dominating. They are winning. It's different than anything we have seen in the PLL. We've seen other teams dominating lacrosse, but this is the first time we've seen it in the PLL.
I'm just pulling up just to make sure.
But I am really excited for Chaos Water Dogs. Like, we know what we get in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Archers Whip Snakes game is more exciting because this is a storyline we haven't really seen played out before. We know exactly what we're getting with Water Dogs Chaos. 2 of the best goalies to ever play, 2 very high-powered offenses with shutdown defenses that both run the middle of the field well. Same storyline that plays out every single time. It's a 1 or 2 goal game, super tight. We know exactly what we're getting. Not that it won't be exciting, but it's a script that we've seen played out. Whereas Archers Whip Snakes it's new, something we haven't seen before.
I don't know if it's a script we've seen before with this iteration of Chaos and this iteration.
Oh, here we go with this.
I'm just saying as a whole, like,
what's so different? What's so different between either of these teams and what we saw from them last year?
I'm just seeing if they've played each other this year yet.
Yeah, beginning of the year, first game.
Okay,
first game.
Completely different teams off the bat already.
But it was still the exact same script. Super tight game, 2 very good goalies, defenses outstanding, offenses came to play.
But this is the first time that Chaos and Water Dogs are playing where dogs are going prevent. Different strategy. Josh Burns out.
Prevent is not that big of a deal. Josh Byrne being out, really, like, I'm not going to say it's not a big deal, but when you have a guy like Chris Kluche who's going to come in and fill his shoes, not as a big of a deal as a Matt Rambo being out, as a Mac O'Keefe being out. Like, nothing changes with these 2 teams when guys don't play. Dylan Ward doesn't play, you get Matt DeLuca, who's been fantastic. Josh Byrne doesn't play, you get Chris Cloutier. Like,
this Chaos team also hasn't played against this version of Ethan Walker.
That's fine.
It's not the same script then.
Nah, it is. Like, the team.
Not.
The team hasn't changed too much. We are seeing a completely different Archers team than we have ever seen before. And now we're getting a Whip Snakes team that is struggling and is now back on the train and is supposed to be now very scary to go against. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. I'm not saying the Chaos and Water Dogs game won't be exciting and I'm not happy to watch it, but I think this Archers Whip Snakes game is going to be
looking way more forward to Chaos Water Dogs.
That's just because you're a little fiend for both those teams.
Hey, I like.
So
I'm
not upset at.
I like when the boys battle.
I'm not upset at you, and I agree. It's going to be a fantastic game, but I cannot put it above Archers Whip Snakes. No way.
I just did.
And this is the Redwoods fan saying this. I'm excited to watch the Whip Snakes play this weekend because if this train that I'm supposed to be hopping on ends up getting run over, I'm run into the socials to talk all the smack I can. Run because that's another reason why I like this game. Whip Snakes lose, Redwoods win. Oh, guess where we are in the standings?
Still behind because of score differential.
No, because we'd be 5-4, they'd be 4-5. We would be above, score differential or not. We're both 4-4 right now. And I think the Whip Snakes have a tough game the following week as well. I think they play another good team. Whereas Redwoods are going to go and play Atlas, which they could win, they could lose. But
play Cannons.
That's what I'm saying. I like our chances of beating Chrome and Atlas to keep that 4th place. If the Whip Snakes do lose this week, then Whip Snakes winning both.
I think the Whips know they're in. I think Stags would be completely fine losing because then he'd avoid the champ series. I think Stags is going to big brain everyone, and the Whips are going to lose out. They avoid the championship series. They punched their ticket to the playoffs. Their win over under already hit the under.
And no Kizzy.
He does not care.
No Kizzy. We'd be in 5th instead of 6th, which means we wouldn't play Water Dogs first round. We'd play Cannons. If it ended right now, if everything stayed the same besides Whip Snakes and Redwoods switching.
Well, I have it right here. If the playoffs started today.
First. Yeah, I saw it earlier.
It would be Cannons, Atlas, Water Dogs, Redwoods, Whip Snakes, Chaos in the first round. Winner of Whips Chaos would play Archers.
Yep. So we would flop and play Chaos.
I would rather stay on the other side of the bracket where the Redwoods are now, if I were them. If I'm any of those 4 teams.
I don't want to play Water Dogs first. That's one team I wouldn't want to play first.
I'm just saying, if you're one of those 4 teams, I would prefer to stay on that side of the bracket and avoid playing the Archers until the championship game.
I mean, but using your philosophy against you, why not? Why not play Archers in the semi when they're bound to not win, right? Since they haven't been historically good.
Well, I'm just saying from this season as a whole. I'm saying this season as a whole, if you're one of those 4 teams, would you not rather stay away from the team that's in first place until the championship? You'd be crazy not to.
I mean, I'm going off of what you just said. The Archers haven't been good in the playoffs.
I'm saying for this season.
I'm
saying what you said.
I know. I like that. I like the idea of waiting to play them. I'm just playing devil's advocate to the idea based on.
And also, if you're the Redwoods, why would you not want to play the Water Dogs?
Bro.
From a historical aspect.
Because we not thinking about history.
Then why you bringing it up?
I don't want to think about history. You were the one thinking about history. I brought it up for you. Don't be asking me historical questions. I told you I throw history out the window. That's the only subject I didn't do well in school. Did better in science than I did in history.
Historically, the Redwoods should want to stay on that side because of their success against the 2 teams they'd probably end up playing in the Water Dogs and the Cannons.
I agree.
And then on the off chance that Atlas somehow pull an upset,
we might be in trouble.
Redwoods are also historically good against Atlas.
That's very back and forth. I would be scared if Atlas won. Because I'd be like, how you beat Cannons? Like, they'd be on a roll. Do you know the energy they would have? That would be like seeing everybody.
Yeah, then they'd cut somebody, and
that'd be like everybody in DBZ going Super Saiyan at once.
Yeah,
that's how much energy they would have.
They'd cut a franchise icon and sign somebody from the player pool and deflate the chemistry right there.
Stop it. You're going so far. You're ridiculous. At the end of the day, the Archers Whip Snakes game is on ESPN2 for us.
They'll end up trading Tucker Durkin they'll try to submit paperwork to trade Tucker Durkin after the trade deadline. Ruin the whole locker room vibe.
And then Paul goes, you know what? I love Atlas. So yeah, we'll let it go through.
No, he'd be like, Presser, what the fuck are you doing?
Sir, the trade deadline was 2 weeks ago.
Get a grip.
Dude, all I'm saying is, if I'm Redwoods, I don't mind the wins.
Also, last bit before we get to our picks, Archers, I believe, are 99.9% in the Champ Series.
They are in fact in the Champ Series. They cannot drop lower than 4.
Cannons and Water Dogs, I think, can clinch.
They can clinch this week,
the Champ Series. More
wins.
specifically, Cannons, I believe.
Yes.
And then Whips, Chaos, Redwoods still all fighting. Redwoods' chances went up from, I think, 9% going into last week to 27%. I still don't think they make it.
I do.
Unless
the
other
won't.
Teams lose.
They won't unless Chaos loses out.
Or Whips.
No. Because that Whips only puts them in 5th. They both would have to lose out. They're both ahead of them right now. Redwoods are in 6th place right now.
Right. I'm saying if Redwoods win out, both teams lose out.
I say both teams would have to. That's what I was saying. Both teams would have to lose out, and I don't see that happening. So
that's what I was saying. Like, both teams have to lose out. I don't think the Redwoods get in, which is annoying because they would have a fun championship series roster.
Well, tell them play better.
I have been all year. Subscribe to the podcast.
I mean, really, we that has been handled. Actually, we know why. I guess we didn't really speak on the trade and how it worked out. I thought beautifully. Romard wasn't necessarily productive right away, but he dodged. He brought that element, which is what the Redwoods needed. Miles scored and initiated some things for Atlas. Like, that trade worked out well for both teams. We only saw a little bit of it because it is just one game right after, but that was a fantastic move for both sides. I stand by that being a fantastic move for both sides, and we'll see that kind of make fruition for itself moving forward. Perk.
Who?
I say we trade him.
Yeah, who's taking a guy who's got a shooting percentage that's equal to both of ours? Emphasis on mine.
I mean, somebody who don't got nothing to lose with draft picks.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody's trading draft picks this year because of the draft being so loaded. Everyone's holding on to picks.
I mean, you could get away with a 4th.
I don't think anybody's trading draft picks until draft night.
That's fine.
Even then, he's a free agent after this season.
Well, then it's handled. Let him go.
I don't know why it hasn't been done sooner, but
I mean, who are they going to go grab now?
Well, we don't have a list of the player pool, but Craig Chick is available.
I mean, other than Craig Chick, yes.
But do I need to expand on my list?
I guess I would assume you would be going more midfieldish there to replenish, right? But maybe not.
Not really.
I think Kursky could go both ways. Nakai can obviously go both ways. Yeah, I don't think. I'm trying to think of who else in the squad.
Use Tevlin more.
Tevlin could go both ways. Yeah. You heard it here, Nat.
I do that in a heartbeat. I would drop Perk. No offense. He's been bad.
You heard it here, Nat.
He's been bad. Drop him for Craig Chick, and
you heard it here, Nat.
Yeah. Let's get into the pick pond and feed some ducks and get into our PLL Seattle picks of the week, brought to you by our pals over at Trophy Smack. I have my fantasy football draft tonight that I'll be doing live from Lincoln Financial Field because I'm also going to the Eagles game tonight. And we just upgraded our Fantasy Leagues trophy with Trophy Smack. You can do the same. There's no better way to, or no better time to do it. Fantasy football is here. Fantasy sports are here. And you can do that all with our friends over at Trophy Smack. They've got belts, rings, trophies, metal wall art, aka wall smack. They've also got turnover chains. They've got last place trophies, the golden toilet. All available at trophysmack.com/underground, and you can upgrade your fantasy smack talk today. That's trophysmack.com/underground to upgrade your fantasy smack talk. Deej, we start with the game of the week via the league. It's Archers, it's Whip Snakes. How's the train game going?
Bows, baby. Bows.
Yeah, I got Archers.
No question.
I'm taking the Archers as well. Then we go to the caffeine game of the week. Atlas Cannons, bringing the boom. The Bulls and the boom. That's what caffeine does for me, baby. 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Cannons coming off of a loss for the first time in weeks, in 5 weeks. So where do I sign? Give me Coach Holman in the Cannons.
It's always tough to lose a teammate to an injury. But nothing makes you ball out harder that next game. And you couple that injury with a loss. I'm not saying Katy Perry knew what she was talking about when she said she was coming in with a wrecking ball, but this bomb is definitely about to blow up. Yeah. Big Cannon gang.
I can't wait to cop my Cannons rope hat throwback, John. God, that thing is gorgeous. We move to Saturday. Chrome Redwoods. Here's the question, because I think we're both on the same page here. Will Redwoods get their score differential anywhere close to 0 after this game?
As much as I love the Columbus, Chicago, Great Lakes Redwoods, no. Like what I did there, huh? Because they're definitely coming to this area. So
I think they might get it close to 0.
You bugging. How what is close? I need parameters for close.
Within, let's say
within 5?
Within 5, let's say.
You think they're winning by 9 or more? Because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I could see it.
We give up weird goals. That team gives up weird goals.
Yeah, but Chrome doesn't score goals.
and they come in, no, but that's the thing. They come in bunches. They give up weird goals and they come in bunches. So like what Cross did a few weeks ago where he had the hat trick or 4 goals or whatever. If he scores 1, he's going to score 3 against the Redwoods.
Are you calling Klaus Farrar the D3 version of Ryan Brown?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
You heard it here first, folks.
He scores 1, he scores 5, or he scores none. Like, God, I don't know what you want me to say.
Confirmed. Cross Farrar is the new Ryan Brown.
But it's just one of those positions where the defense doesn't give up the ones they should. They give up the ones they shouldn't. And once they start to give up the ones they shouldn't, it obviously gets into Jack's brain. Like, that's how goalies are. No, love Jack Kelly. He's played phenomenal this year. But as goalies, when you let up a few that you know you should have had, it starts to get to you. And you let up a few more that you know you should have had. So that's my only concern with them winning by 9 is Chrome doesn't score goals, but they score the unconventional ones because those are the only ones they can score. And when we start to give up goals, we give up a lot of unconventional goals. And I don't see Chrome getting blanked. That's my thing. I don't see him getting blanked. And I also don't see them only scoring like 3 because the Redwoods don't give up 3 goals in a game. They give up more than that. I would love to be wrong. I'm going to say that to end it. I would love to be wrong, but I just don't see it.
Hey, I'm saying Redwoods could win 18-9.
I think we can give up 9 goals, but I don't know if we score 18.
I'm just saying it could happen.
The offense flows better, and
Could win
there's
17-8.
tons of shots going off and stuff. But there's still times it goes stagnant. Just interesting. Not saying it can't happen. Just
I'm gonna say it will.
Okay. That I just won't say that. You can.
Chaos Water Dogs in the most fun, happy-go-lucky. Another, we hope both teams just have fun bowl. I think I'm leaning Water Dogs. And here's why. Dylan Ward has that dad strength in him. Just signed his NLL contract, which we'll get into. And that top 3 for the Dogs are buzzing like no other. And I'm pretty sure Jake Carraway should be back this week as well.
Okay.
I just like the way the Dogs are playing and operating. Not that I don't like the way Chaos are playing and operating. I just think the Dogs have like a quickness to their approach on offense that can get overwhelming. And not to say that Blaze can't handle that. I just think as a collective, I think the Water Dogs win.
So let's break this down. Chaos will most likely win the face-off battle. So there's an opportunity they're going to have a lot.
I don't know. You like Obrecht's at home.
I'm changing my face-off guy right now to Nick Rowlett. I didn't even think about that in fantasy. Nick's going to have a week. They're going to do well at the stripe, so they're going to have the ball quite a bit. Their offense is electric, to say the least. So they're going to score goals. This comes down to 6 players. 6. We know what we get in the Michael Sowers, Jack Rowlett matchup. Sowers is going to get a couple, but for the most part, Jack will minimize what he can do. That's what Jack is known for. He takes the best guy out of the game. That's plain and simple. Number 2, Kieran and Jared. Jared has been unreal this year as the closest defender, giving up some like 8% on the year for shooting percentage. Kieran's been great. I think Kieran gets a couple, has some points and assists, but for the most part, Jared will be able to compose him to 4 or 5 or less. The real matchup of the day, the one that matters the most, that will determine how this game plays out, is Ethan Walker versus Will Bowen. Will Bowen has slowly creeped his way into the Rookie of the Year conversation. Will Bowen has easily been one of the best defensemen on Chaos this year, and doing so in the general role as such a talker and directing people. But Ethan Walker, missing games, 25 points on the year already. But because of who Will Bowen has behind him, and the way the game at the beginning of the year went without Dane and Chris and all those guys, have to lean on the side of Chaos.
So there you have it. We both got archers. We both got cannons. We both got redwoods. I got the dogs. DJ's got chaos.
I got us, baby.
Everybody has Fun Bowl 2.0. Those are your PLL Seattle / Tacoma picks of the week, brought to you by Trophy Smack. Shout out to the pick pond.
Oh my God, I about jumped out of my skin. Oh.
Yeah, the second. Are
Yeah.
colors of it?
Yeah, but.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. But like, quick second.
All right, last bit here brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny tracker, see who's got Kenny's on tap in the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh areas, or you can get it at your local Philadelphia area liquor store. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. It's 4.1% ABV, just 120 calories, only 8 grams of carbs. That's kenwoodbeer.com. Please drink responsibly. NLL Free Agency. Quick little rundown for the people before we get out of here. Vancouver still going on a free agency tear. They signed John Lintz to a 1-year agreement. That's a big win for the content creators because John Lintz does content with our pals over at Lacrosse Flash as well, so shout out to the boy. Toronto Rock have signed Sam Haynes to a 1-year deal. They signed Tyler Hendricks to a 1-year deal. Marley Angus, who I believe was part of our all-name team from last year, Marley Angus, signed a 2-year deal with Toronto as well. Sheldon Burns signs a 1-year deal with Toronto. San Diego made the qualifying offer to Casey Jackson, according to the CBA, and have since traded Casey Jackson, since that was extended to him, to the Las Vegas Desert Dogs in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2024 entry draft. The Wings have signed Alex Krepinczek to a 2-year deal, so Krep's back on that defense. Your New York Riptide Deej have signed Mitch Wild to a 3-year deal, coming from your Roughnecks to your Riptide. Matt Anderson signs a 2-year deal with the Riptide, and Damon Edwards back with the Riptide on a 1-year deal. Georgia signed Jeremy Thompson to a 1-year deal. They've also traded Robert Hudson to your Calgary Roughnecks in exchange for their 30th overall selection in this year's entry draft and a second-round pick in the 2025 entry draft. We also have a coach's trade. We mentioned Josh Sanderson heading to your Roughnecks. Well, that was part of a trade, as the Roughnecks have traded their third-round selection in the 2025 entry draft to San Diego in exchange for signing Josh Sanderson as head coach and assistant GM.
Bro, that's... Why can coaches be dope, bro? Could you imagine?
They're under contract.
Could you imagine if other leagues started dealing coaches, bro? Oh,
The NFL has done it. Gruden got
NLL.
traded back in the day.
Yeah, but we haven't seen that in so long.
Sean Payton got traded.
This is great. I mean, we should make this happen more often. Trade more coaches, please. Oh, you aren't coaching well? See ya. Let me get that guy over there.
Matt Vince is not done. He's not hanging him up. He signs a 2-year deal to go back to Buffalo. Just like we mentioned last week, signed Kevin Crowley to a 2-year deal, and they signed Matty Beers to a 3-year deal. San Diego signs Kyle Rubish to a 1-year deal, so he's staying in San Diego after it was reportedly rumored he wanted to get closer to the East Coast. He's going to play with the Seals. The Georgia Swarm keep doing the damn thing with field players. They have signed both to 2-year agreements Chet Comizio and Matt Campbell, both going to the Georgia Swarm. The Roughnecks, after trading for him, they've signed Robert Hudson to a 3-year deal. The Rochester Nighthawks signed Taylor Jensen to a 1-year deal and Rylan Hartley to a 2-year deal. The Bandits signed Brandon Robinson to a 1-year deal. Saskatchewan signed Gabriel Prochik to a 2-year deal and Jeremy Searle to a 1-year deal. Panther City signed Ryan McLean to a 1-year deal. The Bandits signed Adam Bomberry to a 1-year deal. Panther City signed Justin Joseph, which sounds like an NFL defensive back, to a 2-year deal. And then the big one, Colorado Mammoth have re-signed franchise, cornerstone, and goalie Dylan Ward to a 4-year deal. Huge deal for the boy. What a week for Dylan Ward. Any of those contracts stand out to you, Deej, before we get up out of here?
Nothing crazy. I mean, Dylan Ward obviously getting the bag 4 years. I'm just extremely impressed with the level of execution with free agency in the NLL. Nobody makes a bad move, in my opinion. From what are you gonna what?
We had a 3-team trade that we broke down.
That's not free agency.
It's part of it.
No, that's a trade. Trade and free agency are very different. Teams don't go and sign somebody who does not fit into their team. You see in a lot of other sports, guys kind of take a whim. At least in my opinion, I haven't necessarily seen anything that I went head scratcher in the NLL yet. I always can see at least a piece of what they're trying to do. That's the biggest thing. Like, there are so many times in other sports and free agency where guys make a move and I'm like, what? There's no way you thought that guy was the guy that you needed to go and sign. Like, you can't be real. Can't be. Like the Pistons going and signing Blake Griffin a couple years ago. Perfect example. Blake Griffin's the guy. That's the guy. That's who the Pistons need to be in the playoffs. You can't tell me that ever. Like, it's kind of those kind of decisions I don't see in the NLL. In my opinion, it seems like when guys go and grab someone in free agency, they're like, this guy has a potential to help us here, or here, and here, or here. Like, they have a very designed reason for why they go and get a guy. It's very thought out, very planned, we only make the best. I shouldn't say the best move, but we only make good moves. May not be the best possible move we could have made, but it's still a good one. It's still one that people are going to be able to understand. It doesn't seem to be a lot of wonder what this guy's going to do that we see in some of the other leagues.
I'm just very perplexed right now looking at the transaction wire. Last week we talked about Casey Jackson signing a 1-year deal with Las Vegas. Then San Diego extended the qualifying offer to him this week to then trade him to Las Vegas. I'm very confused by that. If somebody can explain that to me.
Did they get something else in the trade?
A draft pick. But
that's why.
But it said he signed with Las Vegas on a 1-year deal first. Like, that happened last week. Mm-hmm. But then this week, he was extended the qualifying offer from San Diego after he had already signed a contract with another team.
There must have been something where they weren't allowed to, like, they didn't know where, because he has to be extended the qualifying offer first.
Because
I don't think he can make
signing was.
I don't think he can make a decision without the qualifying offer first. I may be wrong on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules we don't know with the NLL because they make it impossible to find.
Right.
August 3rd was when that happened. They signed Casey Jackson to a 1-year agreement, placed him on the active roster from the injured reserve list. That was August 3rd per the transaction wire. Then the qualifying offer thingy thing happened on. Where is this? Where did this go? August 15th was the trade. So this had to have been. Why can I not find this now? Did they hear us talking about it and wiped it from the internet?
Couldn't have happened that fast.
Am I losing my mind? Here it is. August 11th. Okay, so August 3rd, he signed a 1-year deal with Las Vegas, was put on the active roster from the injured list. Then San Diego made a qualifying offer to Casey Jackson on August 11th. And then on August 15th, Casey Jackson was traded from San Diego to Las Vegas in exchange for a 2024 second-round pick. It's just weird that the signing happened with Las Vegas first per the transaction wire. Like, it feels like that should have been after. Like, it feels like it feels like a sign and trade, but in reverse order.
It may have just been put in wrong. They don't. The NLL's
So
not
weird.
great.
And then I had to look up too. I was like, are there more than one Casey Jacksons in the NLL? And I'm like,
No, they're not.
There's
But
not.
the NLL's not great at the transaction wire, so it may have just been something like that where they just uploaded it the wrong way, or realized that, or maybe it was an initial sign and trade and they just didn't do the other part when they.
I am confusion.
But
San Diego, explain.
They probably can't explain either.
That's absurd. I like Casey Jackson going to Vegas, though. I'll tell you that much. I think that's a great move for them. That's a nice veteran winning presence to add to that offense that has Jack Hanna, that has Rob Hellier. I think that's a nice piece to add to that Vegas squad that I think is just getting better and better. And I think they're going to be a much more improved team this year, going into year 2 of existence. Now, only if they had better jerseys.
But hey, we're not in control of that.
I feel like blue and yellow are an underutilized color tandem in sports. Just thinking about that one EDM jersey that they had.
I'm trying to think.
Remember last year when they had like the EDM Vegas Desert? I was like, that should be their jersey.
There's that.
But it's like the Chargers have blue and yellow.
Chicago Sky,
St. Louis Blues. If you want to count Nashville with the Preds.
Yeah, Nashville counts.
I just view them more as just yellow. Georgia with Swarm. Yeah. But like, see, we're dipping into like the Union.
Yeah. Marquette.
And there's my case. Like, we're dipping into college. We're dipping into the MLS and the NLL. And, like,
I agree.
It's such an underutilized color tandem. That is such a good tandem. No matter what gradient scale you're on with the blue. Whether it's light blue, royal blue, dark blue, navy blue. Teal. Our color scheme. But if anybody uses that, we need royalties.
Heard the man. Pay us.
Also, I can't wait for that hat that I ordered that is our color scheme to come in. I'll be wearing that hat every weekend. I can't wait. That's all we got for you guys. Make sure you're following us on the socials at OTBLaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. You can also follow the company Facebook page if you're a Facebook user, facebook.com/undergroundsportsphi. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping us to continue to grow. Helps more people find Outside the Box and Underground Sports Philadelphia. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. We're at 523 subscribers right now. Need to get to 600 by the end of August and need to get to 1,000 before DJ's birthday, but more specifically, 600 before the end of August. That is a massive milestone that we need to hit as a company. That's where you get full video episodes of this show every single week. All of our video content goes on the YouTube channel, so you don't want to miss it. It is truly like a television station. We put out content every single day of the week pretty much. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. And this has been episode number 288, the caffeinated precursor edition of the Outside the Box podcast, the allegedly award nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked Outside the Box podcast. Official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. We're going to go stock up on caffeine and blast some Ciara all weekend long. But until next week, enjoy Seattle weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.